Berries. So according to scientific research, this tree originated around Taiwan and works its way down to Indonesia. It is believed that these are some of the early trees or plants that was introduced by the Polynesians during the early migration to the islands. So it's not a native of the islands, it's an introduction. So when the tree grows, what the women try to do as the tree grows, they will clip off or cut off any leaves that try to grow out of the tree. You know, because you got to remember that that leaf will eventually turn into a branch. And if it turns out into a branch, then the bark has been torn. So they would much rather have the tree to grow out in one long stump. So usually it takes about 8 months to a year before the bark is matured enough for the process. And as the tree grows and the roots will grow out, more trees will come out of it. So it actually multiplies when you grow one. So the only part that we miss is cutting the tree down. So what Becca's going to do next, she is going to separate the bark from the wood. Now as you can see throughout the whole process, you're going to see the knife and a pair of scissors. Those are about the only addition tools into this skills or this art. But otherwise, everything else is from nature, like either from the ocean or from the land. Now if we go back like 30, 40 years ago, before the pair of scissors and a knife, what the women used to do for a cutter was more like a piece of bamboo strip. So this is one of our traditional skills that was very much under threat. What I mean about that is that, you know, like if we go back to the 1950s, the 1960s, and the 1970s, a lot of the families just completely stopped doing it. The point is, the families realize, what's the point of doing it when we've got all these fabrics to wear as clothes? But this is one of the benefits of tourism within our traditional skills and knowledge. Because if it wasn't for tourism, it would have never brought it back. So even though it brought it back, but there's still only about a handful of families still doing it to this day. So a good example of that, or evidence of that, all Samoans, every Samoans know what a siapo or a tapa is. Are you Samoans? You all are. But have you seen this being done before? See, 90 to 95% of the Samoans has never seen what you're about to see now. That's the reason. That's death in taxes. Would you agree on that? Those are the fact of life to the Western ways. You gotta pay taxes. Yeah. The fact of life in Samoa is chief titles and land. All Samoan families, now whenever I would mention the word families, I'm usually referring to as extended families, because that's how we live. So all Samoan families, they all live on their own land, and they all have chief titles. Now the land does not belong to an individual. The land belongs to the extended family. There are no such thing as village lands. No. Village is made out of families. Families in this village, those are the ones that own the land. So whenever we discuss the word land does not go with the word me, myself, and I. The word land goes with the word we, ours, and us. It does not belong to the individual. So for example, like our mother, when she married my father, in our culture or our traditions, the whole wedding takes place at the woman's village. After the wedding, then you're supposed to move to the man's village. But my mother, being so strong, she didn't want to move to our father's village. She wanted to stay behind and look after our family. So our family, after the wedding, had a meeting and decide which land to put my mother in. So even though me, my brothers, my sisters, my mom, we all grew up in this land, my mother can never have the right to say it's her land. It does not belong to her. It belongs to the family. Because somehow that juice, looks like the same color as blood. So she applies that juice on the material first. Somehow that juice will make the paint, which she's going to apply to the material. Secondly, will make that paint, attach to the material much, much better, and makes it last longer and even shinier. So it's more like a polish
Okay.